All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to That's Not Real Trek Watch Party Podcast. My name is Scotty, also known as EBC. Directly below me, the beautiful Short and Sweet, also known as Veronica, and Oh, the Short One. Thank you for joining us. And this is episode number 24. And we started Lower Decks last week. Unfortunately, this week there is no episode title with the word moist in it, so I apologize for that right off the bat. But,
Darn.
yeah, dag nabbit. We're having fun, and Ragnats has joined us this week. He said this is his favorite Star Trek series so
Oh,
far
nice.
right now. So, and we just finished Strange New Worlds before New Year's, and absolutely loved Strange New Worlds. Can't wait for season two on that. So yeah, we're just plugging along. So we're in the middle now of Lower Deck season one, and it's going to be like the next 8 weeks or so. We're doing Lower Decks and Prodigy, and then we'll be starting Picard in probably late April, I believe. As long as we keep on plugging along here. Speaking of which, I think I need to cancel next week because we've got a family issue, but we'll see. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Um, but yeah. All right. So, any further thoughts now that we started Lower Decks last week? The first four episodes. Anything that you mulled over in the course of the last week since we first started that?
And no, I really enjoy it. It's just easy to watch and fun and pretty good show.
Yeah. The thing that I thought of during this last week is just how fast paced this entire thing is. It's literally boom, 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 one thing after the other. The one liners don't stop. And as I did note last week, they pile the dialogue on top of each other. There's no break between this and this and this and this, and they just keep right on rolling along. So,
Mhm.
um, very different, in their attempt to do the comedic style and not only hit all of the Easter eggs and the nuances and the references, but also I think in trying to appeal maybe to a younger audience, um, and they're thinking that kind of a style where it's boom 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 constantly is gonna do that. So I was gonna see if I yeah, I'm gonna turn subtitles on this week just
Yeah.
so we can follow along with that. If you lose, what's her face, Mariner is talking too fast, and we can try to keep up with this week. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. All right. So the first two episodes, episode five, Cupid's errant arrow, and episode six, terminal provocations. Here we go.
Oh, I hit it.
All right. Yeah, yeah, lots of little Easter eggs in that one, especially. Um, yeah, the triple keychain. What else did you see? Because I've been a little distracted here. I'm working on something else in the background, but
As far as visually, that was the one that stood out. The other ones are like more, they'll say a name or they'll have like you know, they'll have like a maneuver named after a cap. They mentioned a lot of the captains in that episode there. Um, Captain Picard Day and
yeah, Captain Picard
stuff like that.
Day. They just mentioned Fowler or whatever his name was going to the Titan,
Hmm.
um, which is Riker's new
Riker.
command, right? Fletcher. Yeah, and a couple other things, and then more so in that last episode. Terminal Provocations, uh, a couple of references. The um, Badgie, who clearly, they tried to like emulate a little bit of the Moriarty type deal with the holodeck going haywire, and now you got this thing that's trying to kill whoever's in the holodeck, and then they overcome that at the last possible second and everything else. But I was reminded of the relationship between Badgie and the engineer. Uh, I was reminded of Lol and Data.
Oh yeah.
Because he's talking to the father, and then he
Father.
dies, and then they go through the yeah. So I thought it was hilarious that in that regard, that seemed to be a reference to Lol and Data. Um, and then in Cupid's errant arrow, the love story of the week, where one
Yeah.
of the crew members falls in love with somebody else, and then they find out just right by the end of the episode, it's just not gonna work out this time. Um, and they never get into these really lasting relationships. Uh, and then also the reference in Cupid's Aaron Arrow about too good to be true. So we're questioning what the hell is going on. Is this a parasite? Is this a shapeshifter? Is it this or that? And all the references that were built into that. So far, I'm really liking that. We're getting a little more character development there. We can't remember his name. The engineer uh, with the bionic implant. He clearly has some kind of crush on the Orion girl.
Hmm.
And this that was revealed in this last episode. He really admires her and finds her attractive and all this, but he's not necessarily ready to quite reveal that to her and get her take on it. Um, so, did any other things that you saw there and wanted to comment on?
Yeah, I mean, I just like in general that other than that, uh, attraction that he admitted to, these could really be like watched in whatever order.
Yeah,
There's no like through storyline. You don't have to like keep track of Rutherford. Thank you.
Rutherford, thank you.
Yeah, you don't have to keep track of like what's going on in each situation
Yeah,
because by the end of the episode, it's all wrapped up.
right.
So I do really enjoy that aspect of it.
And that's harkening back to the episodic days of TNG and TOS,
Hmm.
um, where I mean, and that was probably like indicative of all television from that era. Like you really didn't see season long story arcs until
I feel like 24 when that came out, that
yeah,
was one that
and that
like
was late '90s,
yeah.
early 2000s, I
I
think.
think that's the earliest one that I can think of that had like a
Yeah.
thorough, like all the way through storyline.
Yeah, DS9 had story arcs, but even then, it tended to be like, I mean, they'd mention, okay, so the Dominion War is continuing on and this and that, but, aside from slight references, they were still doing kind of like episodic or 2, 3 part episodes. DS9, I think, was the first one in the Star Trek franchise that did 3 part episodes. And then
Oh wow.
I think maybe Voyager did one of those, a series of 3, and Enterprise did 1 or 2 3 episode arcs. Um, so that was a little bit new. Um, and then by Enterprise, like Enterprise was the first time I think that they really put it into full force with season 3, and the entire season was devoted to an arc
Yeah.
where Earth is fighting a species called the Zindi, and we'll get to that later. But yeah,
Hmm.
the interesting that was kind of the thing that they chose in this, that we're definitely going with contained episodic stories, and you don't have to
Right.
watch them in order, and you don't have to this or that, because As long as you saw some of the stuff that came before it, you're gonna get the references and know
Hmm.
what is the foundation, the build up for what they're talking about now.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on then. We've got now episode 7, Much Ado About Boimler, and episode 8, Veritas. Here we go. Yeah, John Delancey. Um, Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what'd you think?
Oh, really good. I really, really enjoy the series. Very tongue in cheek. All the references are just like all the little Easter eggs are wonderful, amazing.
Yeah. Um, and you know what? At least this is the way it seemed to me. Is that the first couple of episodes were kind of crazy, like, and you don't necessarily know what to make of it. It's just so much being thrown at you. But now it seems like we're actually kind of settling into
Hmm.
the way it's gonna feel for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the way it was designed, but either that or you're just kind of used to the style now and just getting it as it's going along. But yeah, so clearly in Much Ado About Boimler, they were referencing um, the Star Trek Next Generation episode where Barclay was like kind of stuck in the transporter for a while, and then he's seeing the floating creatures, and he's halfway between, and figures some stuff out, um, and then the Veritas episode, they were clearly referencing Star Trek 6 with the trial. The
Yeah.
Klingons putting the humans on trial, and no, it's a party, and
Yeah.
yeah. So really, it just continues. There's no end to it. The amount of Easter eggs and references that they're putting in here, it was really great stuff.
Yeah.
Especially in Veritas there, every single time the Klingon said something, he lowers his tone on the last word, so it's supposed to be bone chilling, even if it's the most inane thing. Uh,
Right.
that cadence that the Klingons kind of have when they're trying to intimidate somebody, or yeah.
Mhm. They pull a lot of Next Generation. I feel like they pull a lot of Next Generation references. Maybe more so than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, and John Delancey guest starring in this episode, really just adding a lot of tone and flavor to that. Uh,
Hmm.
Especially the end scene there, where he's basically referencing how boring Picard is to him now.
Yeah, he's just making wine and
Yeah,
quoting Shakespeare.
yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So any other things that you saw you wanted to comment on?
Um, I mean, it's just really well put together. Like the music, um, the writing's good. Yeah, it's a great show.
Hmm. All right. Well, like I said, we're flying through it. So next week we're gonna have the end of season 1, episodes 9 and 10, and start in with the first 2 episodes of season 2. So
Nice.
yeah, plugging right along.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you next week,
Yeah.
or
Good night.
2 weeks. I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Bye.